Dit programma is mede mogelijk gemaakt door Bundel, ITAR Innovative Technology, Real Root Supplements, Pro Privacy, Moringa's Finest en MVO 2026. Prepare today.
Every adult will need a new government-issued digital ID.
It's a digital ID.
Having all of your personal information stored in one place.
Volgens de mainstream media is de grootste dreiging een oorlog met Rusland. Er wordt geschermd met campagnes, noodpakketten en sneuvelbereidheid.
Een noodsituatie kan ons zomaar overkomen. Hoe goed ben jij voorbereid? Denk vooruit.
Maar wat als de grootste dreiging niet met geweld komt, maar met efficiëntie? In de naam van veiligheid en technologie, om onze vrijheid te bewaken.
We will spare no effort to make Europe an AI continent.
To integrate you into this great reset.
So how soon could central bank digital currencies become a reality?
Niet zomaar een mening. De Estse documentairemaker Erkki Tengslo ging op onderzoek uit en maakte wederom een belangrijk werk dat wij Nederlands hebben ondertiteld nadat ik contact zocht met de maker die blij is dat we zijn werk extra podium geven. Want hij maakte het niet om geld te verdienen, maar omdat hij, net als wij, de missie voelt om het licht te schijnen op dat wat gezien moet worden. Wil jij daar ook aan bijdragen? Deel de documentaire dan met zoveel mogelijk mensen.
Imagine every purchase you make, every app you use, every place you visit, all contributing to a single digital profile, a personal digital identity. This way, many details of your life could be stored in a unified digital record. That profile might eventually connect with your bank, your doctor, your employer, government agencies, and even your car.
To deal with challenges, but also to build at the same time.
This isn't science fiction. It's a vision that organizations like the World Economic Forum are advocating, and that governments and tech companies are gradually moving toward. The rollout of this digital ID infrastructure is truly global and coordinated. Oracle founder and billionaire Larry Ellison emphasizes the need to feed AI systems an immense amount of all available government data.
For what government should do in terms of its digital infrastructure, digital ID, data centers and so on.
The first thing a country needs to do is to unify all of their data so it can be consumed and used by the AI model. Basically, I have to tell the AI model as much about my country as I can. If you want to improve population health, you have to take all of your healthcare data, your diagnostic data, your electronic health records, your genomic data.
The benefits are clear. Digital ID will make our interactions with each other and with the state faster, cheaper, and more reliable.
Stay with me. This isn't some distant future. Steps toward it are already underway.
Facial recognition can now spot suspects in real time from live video, tracking organized criminals at borders, in public spaces, even helping find missing people.
There are cameras on top of the van that scan everyone's faces as they walk past.
Tony Blair is a technocrat. He believes basically that the people at the top need to decide everything themselves. And if you could have total control over everybody, everything would be wonderful. This is the Chinese model.
Oracle co-founder Larry Ellison predicts AI surveillance will be part of our everyday lives in the future. Ellison said AI will soon play a major role in monitoring society through a vast network of interconnected cameras.
The police will be on their best behavior because we're constantly watching and recording everything that's going on. Citizens will be on their best behavior because we're constantly recording and reporting everything that's going on.
But what it will do is create the digital control infrastructure, which then lays the groundwork for all your activities and all of your behavior to be managed by the government and for you to be rewarded or disincentivized in relation to certain behavior. That is the Chinese social credit system, where if you are a good citizen, quote unquote, you can do things that other people cannot do. And if you're a bad citizen, quote unquote, you can't even buy a train ticket to go to a different city. This is where it's going.
That tells me I'm still on the blacklist.
Punished because he's been branded untrustworthy by the state.
Once you're blacklisted, you can no longer get a bank loan, start a business, buy an apartment, or even send your children to a private school.
I'm Dr. Peter McCullough, president of McCullough Foundation, internist, cardiologist, and epidemiologist in Dallas, Texas. And on February 10th, I'll be traveling to the Netherlands to be a part of Battle for Science. This is a critical convening of thought leaders and public figures all around the issue of what happened during the pandemic, the suppression of free speech, authoritarianism, professional reprisal, all for a worldwide outbreak of an infectious disease pathogen that emanated out of a Chinese biosecurity lab. So join me and presenters such as Astrid Strickelberger, former WHO whistleblower, Matthias Desmet, an expert on totalitarianism, and Professor Theo Shetters. And there'll be so many more there. So please check the link at the end of this video and be sure you make it a priority on February 10th, 2026 to be in the Netherlands and join us for the Battle for Science. I'll see you there.
To see this in action, look at China. Some pilot dystopian cities are evolving into highly monitored environments. Cameras track most of your movements, sensors follow patterns of behavior, and algorithms influence what people can buy, where they can travel, and even whom they interact with.
If you thought the way Facebook tracks you was scary, it's got nothing on the Chinese government. Chinese government insists it has a great reason for doing this.
Here, in this Shanghai surveillance center, no resident goes unwatched.
As a good citizen, I respect the rules of the road. If I didn't, I'd lose points on my social credit.
It forces us to be well-behaved.
It may seem scary, but it's just like that here. We're used to it, and anyway, we don't have a choice.
But people with low scores lose rights. The cinema names and shames people considered untrustworthy, plastering their details, even their addresses, across big screens.
All of this is presented as serving the greater good, saving the environment, reducing crime, and creating a more efficient society. What does a fully connected surveillance state really look like? These pilot cities have an all-seeing system with virtually no escape. Faces have become keys to access buildings and services. There's nowhere to hide, as everything is monitored, smartphones, smart cars, smart buildings, all interconnected. In such a system, it's hard to break rules without being noticed. Already, millions have experienced some form of restricted access, often dictated by algorithmic assessments.
This talk of centralized digital currency, that's what they have in China. If you fuck up in China and you get a bad social credit score because you tweeted something they didn't like, now you can't buy a plane ticket. Now you can't buy a car.
Yeah.
Now you can't get a loan. Now you can't do something. You step the fucking line and people self-censor.
While this is unfolding thousands of miles away, similar developments are emerging in the West. Digital identity programs, surveillance grids, real-time tracking, complex databases, and carbon footprint systems. This is an ever-growing concern, as many of these initiatives are gradually moving from pilot projects into real-world implementation.
We'll make a new free-of-charge digital ID mandatory for the right to work.
Western countries are rapidly developing their own digital ID programs. The UK has announced a national digital ID scheme.
We need to be really clear. You must have ID, mandatory digital ID, in order to work.
This technology has advanced amazingly.
To make the most of this new and revolutionary technology.
The British people view this whole digital ID as an Orwellian nightmare.
Yeah, these motherfuckers are pushing digital ID on these people. And then they'll be able to control your movement and control you entirely.
This is your wake-up call. This is about building a centralized, state-controlled digital identity system that could be used, will be used, to link your finances, your medical history, your travel movements, your social media activity, even your social activity in real life, and more. It's quite frankly a digital dog tag, and once it's clipped around your neck, you will not be able to take it off.
Government-imposed digital ID.
There's a coordinated global policy push for digital IDs. One of the main reasons for this coordinated global push to develop digital IDs is because it's deemed essential to the entire Sustainable Development Agenda. It's also known as Agenda 2030.
Europe's digital transformation by 2030.
Governments, banks, and tech companies around the world envision a future where every person has a digital ID, living in a society where everything is digitized, monitored, and managed.
We want to offer to Europeans a new digital identity.
They're basically proposing to have a bunch of your information in one place connected to a digital identity.
Mm-hmm.
It's about building the infrastructure of control so that then you can control people's behavior.
In which you will have to have a digital ID to live your life. So the right to work, then the right to rent, banking, education, childcare, voting.
Money could soon evolve into a global central bank digital currency, eliminating cash and allowing every transaction to be tracked by governments, banks, and tax authorities. Your digital wallet would be linked to your ID card.
From both...
The president of the European Central Bank says that the euro is moving towards a digital currency.
And we work very hard on making sure that we have a digital euro so that we have a European solution. So why not our currency as well?
Well, once you have the digital money system, then there's all sorts of services and applications that can be built on top of that.
Yeah. These people are pushing in a very obvious and very specific direction. They want digital currency, centralized digital currency that they control, and they want to get everybody on a social credit score system. They'll probably connect it to some sort of a vaccine app, or if you want to travel around, all they would need is another pandemic to try to push that shit through.
Digital ID is the end of democracy as we know it, and an irreversible step into a dystopian future.
This new digital identity wallet will be used with a new kind of digital money. Unlike Bitcoin, which is decentralized and not controlled by anyone, this digital money, called a CBDC, central bank digital currency, is created and managed directly by central banks.
A central bank would directly issue a CBDC, and then that's the currency that the people would be using in wallets that are managed by the central bank. Prominent central bankers have been going on about the need to create a new financial system and a new financial governance system.
A digital euro, for example, will make it easier for companies and consumers alike.
Wij staan voor een digitale wereld waarin privacy, veiligheid en vrijheid van meningsuiting de norm zijn. Vind jij dat ook belangrijk? Kom dan nu in actie En ontvang gratis de Pro-Privacy Checklist met bijna 100 praktische tips waarmee je vandaag nog je privacy kunt terugpakken. Ga naar proprivacy.io/checklist.
Banks already maintain massive data points determining your access to loans and mortgages. With digital currency and a world without cash, banks gain real-time visibility into every payment, every person, company, and the entire economy. Fueled by AI, this vast stream of data gives them a new kind of superpower. And surely, it's hard to imagine that the West would turn this system into a Big Brother-style digital prison like China's, isn't it? Western democracies have far stronger legal safeguards, privacy laws, and oversight than China's surveillance state. But every crisis gives governments new reasons to expand control.
Spreading from Wuhan, China, and tonight that first case here in the U.S.
Each emergency, from pandemics to terrorism, makes increased monitoring seem necessary. The pandemic accelerated the rollout of vaccination cards in the West.
Give Europeans back the freedoms they value and cherish so much. This certificate is a symbol of an open and digital Europe. The European Union certificate is a prime example of digital tools that represent our values.
A growing number of European countries are imposing restrictions on people who have not been vaccinated.
Without a vaccination certificate, people often couldn't work, attend university, or enter gyms and restaurants.
Access to trains, domestic flights, and restaurants and bars will only be allowed for the fully vaccinated, recently recovered.
I have the app on my phone. I show that I've been vaccinated. Buongiorno.
If you didn't have a card to present, entry was denied. They were effectively locked out of daily life. Millions were excluded from social or professional activities, and many even lost their jobs for lacking a certificate.
Demonstrators in France, Italy, and Australia took to the streets this weekend, protesting against vaccination passes and new lockdown measures.
A new coronavirus contact tracing app in an effort to track the spread of COVID-19 across the country.
When COVID was happening, there was this push for vaccine passports, and a lot of the people that were pushing or creating the vaccine passports were part of this, either ID 2020, or they were part of related entities pushing for digital ID.
In many countries, digital systems were used to track COVID-19 cases and vaccination status, and in some cases to monitor general compliance with lockdown measures through mobility or contact tracing data.
We have algorithms that automatically recognize certain behaviors. If someone isn't wearing a mask, for example, we immediately detect this wrongdoing.
National Police Service sending to banks the names of people involved in protests.
In Canada, peaceful citizens who protested outdoors against pandemic measures had some of their bank accounts frozen, a striking parallel to China.
I mean, you think about the political risks of freezing accounts. This is a very tricky area.
These cases suggest that, under certain circumstances, the West has the capacity to deploy such systems against segments of the population in the name of the greater good. Whether during a pandemic, a terrorist attack, or efforts to reduce crime or environmental impact, tracking people's behavior, movements, or even thoughts might be considered reasonable.
But just think back to what happened to the during the pandemic. A lockdown happens. You're meant to go for one walk a day. This is giving out to the government data and movement and whatever else, which is deeply, deeply worrying.
As you say, during the pandemic, if you've been identified as a 2-walk-a-day person, or maybe you chose not to get vaccinated, well, then you are denied access to XYZ. I do not want to give that power to a government that has consistently proven not only untrustworthy, but authoritarian.
The groundwork for digital ID systems was established well before COVID-19. Among the most influential initiatives was one launched in 2016 called ID 2020. Its founding partners included Gavi, the Vaccine Alliance, the Rockefeller Foundation, and others. The World Economic Forum has been very open about its vision of humanity as a digital society.
Our future competitiveness depends on AI adoption.
Europe is one step closer to bringing in its insidious digital ID.
Enter the EU Digital Identity Wallet that enables you to identify yourself to public and private services.
In the name of saving the planet, proposals have been discussed about tracking each person's digital footprint, monitoring factors such as travel, fuel usage, and even consumer habits like clothing purchases. It really comes across as if the West is quietly building its own version of a dystopian system. Europe is set to collect biometric data, making airports permanent biometric checkpoints.
Travel into the European Union is about to get stricter as a new digital system is rolled out this October. We'll have their fingerprints and their faces scanned.
You are going to need to register your details. Photo successful. How marvellous.
Hi there, I'm Del Bigtree. I'm the host of the internet talk show, thehighwire.com. I wanted to let you know that on February 10th, I'm coming to the Netherlands for an exclusive event organized by Lighthouse TV. It's called Battle for Science. It's inspired by my film, An Inconvenient Study, which you can watch right now at aninconvenientstudy.com, exposing what happens when scientific results become inconvenient. When top scientists refuse to publish their findings because it would mean it'd be the end of their career. You see, science is under attack, and that's why I'm joining Battle for Science, where I will discuss this topic with brave scientists like cardiologist Dr. Peter McCullough, WHO whistleblower Dr. Astrid Stuckelberger, Professor Matthias Desmet, and Professor Theo Shedders, and many other scientists. And yes, you'll be able to ask me questions, maybe even meet me in person along with all the other speakers. So if you care about freedom, if you care about truth and scientific integrity, and you want to meet some of my favorite scientists in the world, this is an event you do not want to miss. Join me at the Battle for Science, February 10th in the Netherlands. I'll see you there.
Both in China and in European countries, AI-powered surveillance cameras track faces, gestures, and movements everywhere.
The growth of facial recognition and what it's capable of brings with it a host of privacy and civil liberties issues.
Even the car you drive is constantly logged in a giant database.
So at the same time as a facial biometric digital ID is being made mandatory for every single person in the country, cameras are being introduced that scan your facial biometric.
Because what we're effectively talking about here is a Chinese social credit score, isn't it?
Whether it falls into a full-blown Chinese-style social kind of credit system, who knows? But it feels less laughable today, doesn't it, than it probably did, 5 years ago.
Are we already living in a world where our privacy is so compromised that this really doesn't add a great deal to it?
Every day, more and more of your life is digitalized and centralized into huge databases.
By 2030, all EU citizens should have access to electronic health records.
Many countries already have digital ID systems, and these are gradually evolving into more centralized frameworks for managing health, taxes, and travel. There's no denying that these digital ID systems can be extremely convenient. No long lines, paperwork, or bureaucracy. You can file your taxes, schedule doctor appointments, and store all your documents in a single, fast, and easy-to-use digital system.
and to interact with governments and businesses across the European Union.
In the future, your digital ID could serve as the key to accessing the internet. At least, that's increasingly being discussed.
An identity that ensures trust and protects users online.
Spanish Prime Minister Pedro Sánchez has called for an end to online anonymity.
And force all these platforms to link every user account to an European digital identity wallet.
What's Sanchez's proposal? To link all social media accounts to a European digital identity wallet.
We are that close to a situation where you basically need a digital ID to go online. For example, your online activity will be linked to a digital ID, or certainly there will be people calling for that.
And Europe is already planning to gain access to scan people's messages.
The EU's plan to scan private messages and flag to the police any content suspected of being child sexual abuse.
The big problem here from privacy activists is that everyday users are going to be exposed to a whole new vulnerability, which is the breaking of their end-to-end encryption services.
These programs, mass surveillance, is not about public safety. It is not about terrorism. It is about power. It is about economic espionage, it is about diplomatic manipulation, and it is about social influence.
In the UK, internet authorities constantly monitor online discourse and can arrest individuals based on their posts.
She's basically viewed a post, which is not an arrestable offence.
The only thing is, we need to seize the phone at this current moment. Your daughter will get arrested.
For what? Viewing a social media post? Is that
I need to go with her in order to...
No, absolutely not.
What should we do to
prevent destruction? I would like you to leave now. I'd like you to leave.
This is why you're...
Okay, I have nothing more to say to you.
People are waking up. People are taking a stand against this digitalization of humans. Almost 3 million people in the UK have signed a petition opposing this digital ID system.
Join the fight to defend our freedoms. Follow Freedom Research on X.
Vond je deze documentaire de moeite waard? Deel hem dan met zoveel mogelijk mensen en overweeg om Lighthouse TV bouwer te worden en geef ons die maandelijkse zekerheid om dit soort producties te kunnen blijven maken en uitzenden.
Dit programma is mede mogelijk gemaakt door Bundel, ITAR Innovative Technology, Real Root Supplements, Pro Privacy, Moringa's Finest en MVO 2026. Prepare today.